Hi, everybody. If you're like me, you're probably getting a lot of your feed blowing up with people saying things like, oh, Trump wants Venezuela's oil for his billionaire buddies. Well, I'm really sorry, and I'm very serious about this. I'm very sorry that our political discourse has become so crude and so shallow and so politicized. It's unacceptable what the Democrat establishment is saying because they absolutely know better. They do. So I'm going to go ahead and tell you the truth. Oh my God, the truth, right? No. Okay. Hi, everybody. It's time for Fun Facts with Dr. Amy Chai for U.S. Congress, Connecticut's 1st District. And if you're like me, you've been seeing a lot in your social media feeds and even on the news of Democratic leadership claiming that Trump took out Maduro so that his billionaire friends can have oil. And I'm really sorry that that kind of rhetoric is what it's come to, because the people who are supposed to be providing you with the news are simply not providing you with the news. They are lying in your face in order to make political points. And in my opinion, that's really treasonous. Do you want to hear the truth about Venezuela? Just a little bit of truth. I'm going to tell you the truth. And if you want to fact check me, go ahead. Go on to Google. You can find it yourself. Okay. So, who are the real players in Venezuela? Well, it's not American oil. Okay. Who are the real players in Venezuela? Well, the real players are the theocracy of Iran. And, I don't know if you were alive in 1979, but I was. I remember the takeover of the Ayatollah and how he destroyed Iran and turned it into a brutal theocracy. But yeah, you might not remember that. That's okay. The other player, of course, is China, who will do anything in their power to gain hegemony all across the world. And then, of course, the other player is Russia. Russia. Okay. So those are the trifecta of powers that actually rule Venezuela. Okay. It's not Hugo Chavez. Hugo Chavez in 2005 made a big deal with Iran and declared them brothers. So let's just talk some facts about what's really going on in Venezuela and why setting the Venezuelan people free from their dictatorship was the right thing to do for the United States and for the Venezuelan people and for the Iranian people and for people all over the world, including the Ukraine. So let's get started. Fun facts. Okay. So I'm the kind of person that does weird things like read other countries' constitutions. Like, for example, I've read Iran's constitution, I've read Hamas constitution. I just do those things because, I like to get my facts from primary sources. So, Iran's constitution, chapter 10, article 154, talks about a mandate of the constitutional variety where the theocratic Islamic Republic of Iran is obligated to basically support global jihad wherever it may be. And you may not know that after Hugo Chavez declared Iran a brother state in 2005, Iran has had a very, very big presence in Venezuela. And Venezuela, as you may not know where it is actually pretty close to America. It's in the upper right-hand corner of South America, just across the water to our southern border. And one of the things that Iran has done is a gold for oil exchange that has allowed Venezuela to circumvent American sanctions that have been against that country. And they've also had a very heavy military presence in Venezuela. They've given Venezuela advanced drone technology, and they've also given Venezuela military training. And in fact, there's an entire Air Force base called, and I'll probably mispronounce this because I don't speak Spanish, El Libertador Air Force Base, is actually run by Iran. Okay? Iran. Okay? Do you really want terrorists right across the water from Florida? Do you really want that? Do you really want a theocracy that believes in jihad to be giving weapons to Venezuela? Maybe you do. Okay. That's fair. That's fair. If that's what you want, at least you know. Okay. At least you know. Okay. How about Russia? Russia has sold billions of dollars worth of arms to Venezuela, including the S-300VM air defense system. And Russian oil companies are heavily invested in the Orinoco Belt oil region of Venezuela. And hurting this is when we've got Maduro, right? We're going to really be hurting Russia. Russia is going to be really hurting because this is going to affect their oil and their oil prices and their oil investments. So you're like, oh, Ukraine, let's give them billions of more dollars. No, let's stop Russia from owning Venezuela's oil. Wouldn't that be nice? Oh, but no, you can't do that because Trump bad. Okay. No. Okay. What about China? China's the other country in this trifecta. China's very subtle. What does China do? It quietly buys up entire ports, lots of land. It insinuates itself with money into these countries, and it provides Venezuela with fentanyl to slowly poison your children and kill 100,000 American citizens every year of fentanyl poisoning. And China gets full-on denial rights because, they did it to themselves, didn't they? That's what China will say. But so we have Iran, we have Russia, and we have China, who are actually running Venezuela with Maduro as a puppet. Maduro is basically just a gangster and a drug dealer who has been placed in power by these entities. The people that voted in the last election back in 2024 did not vote for Maduro. The woman who was running against him, who, by the way, won the Nobel Peace Prize in 2025, she is hiding out in Norway now, fearing for her life. She had poll numbers in the 92% range for beating Maduro. But he used his laws and his judges to keep her off the ballot. Sounds familiar, doesn't it, America? And she had to flee to Norway. The person who replaced her still won overwhelmingly, but he had to flee for his life to Spain. Maduro is completely illegitimate. And actually, he has been indicted in the United States. The raid to get Maduro and his wife extradited by force to the United States was, in fact, a DEA operation, not a military incursion. Yes, the military was used, and yes, perhaps that's a technicality. But the importance of removing Maduro cannot be overstated. If you don't want terrorism in America, if you don't want millions of refugees, if you don't want young people in Venezuela being murdered and imprisoned and tortured and having to sell their bodies for food, then you'd be rejoicing that Maduro is gone, just like the Venezuelans are. But if you listen to Democrat lawmakers, they say none of this at all. All they want to say is Trump bad, Trump take Maduro, Trump take Maduro oil, because they would rather let Russia have Maduro's oil. They would rather let Iran have Maduro's oil than admit that Trump did the right thing. And that's what we're seeing here today. So that's our fun fact for the day. I hope you learned something. This is Amy Chai. Thanks for watching.